Welcome back, everybody. It is Jeff and Justin here, the Frustrated Rockstars, here with a special guest, another Frustrated Rockstar. This is English Nick, a very well-known local Atlanta radio personality and host of Metalsome. So if you're in Atlanta, you can sing karaoke with a live metal band.
Live band karaoke, the 10 high under the Dark Horse, 3 nights a week, Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays now.
And of course, we are at the Atlanta Brewing Company.
Oh, Mother's Milk.
Some Peachtree Pale Ale.
Oh, yeah. Cheers, we have to say, because we have English Nick here.
Very nice pale ale this, yes.
So we're doing some talk and roll here, and thank you so much for joining us. Tonight's topic is going to be punk or not punk.
Right.
What is and what isn't punk music?
Sure.
Okay, I mean, that's a debate. This is what we do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But before we get to the headliner, first we do the opening act. Are you ready? As always, our opening act is sort of a topical news story, something going on right now.
Sure.
And
big news.
It's kind of big news, especially in the
For some people, yeah.
If you're in the punk world,
sure.
This is a big one. John Lydon, a.k.a. Johnny Rotten of the Sex Pistols. So he's reforming Public Image Limited after, what, 15 years?
Yeah.
About 15 years?
Something like that.
Long time. Of course, this is the band he formed after the Sex Pistols. So what do you guys think? Justin first?
Well, I mean, there's no original members. He doesn't even have the Clash guitarist anymore. I think it's a money grab. I think it's great for the real fans.
Right.
You know, I think for the real fans, it's great. He's 53 now. I mean, it's not like seeing him, in 1977. But if you're a fan, it's a thrill.
I was really surprised when they put the Sex Pistols back together.
So was I.
Obviously, that was a money deal. There was a DVD. It was the 30th anniversary of Nevermind the Bollocks, and it's like, really? You're going to put that band back together? That band that meant so much to so many people back then when that movement was going on?
Which was very anti-establishment.
Sure.
So when you talk about a money grab, you think, he would never do that.
No.
And here he is doing it for the second time.
He's repainting the Mona Lisa.
So I think that Public Image Limited is much more understandable. You know what I'm saying? It was a band that came after that. It was more commercial, and so, hey, why not? If you can...
They're only doing 5 dates, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like this big worldwide tour.
But he did say, we'll see where it leads.
Yes.
Right.
Which, a.k.a.
As in, how much money will people offer me to tour the stage?
I don't know if I'd go see it, but...
Well, I like seeing John Lydon live, and I saw Pill back in the day at Reading Festival in England, and it was a very edgy performance. Like, he was spitting at the crowd, and they were spitting at him, and you weren't quite sure what was going to happen next, and that was the cool thing about it. So, hey, I'd go see it if it
There's
came
something to
to
be said, though, like Grace Slick said, I don't want to be an aging rock star. I want people to remember me as Jefferson Airplane. I don't want them to see me gray and all that.
And when it comes to punk, that applies even more.
Even more.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So something about having that freeze frame.
But hey, the Ramones did it for a long time after they were, done with their,
Absolutely. Their heyday was over,
Yeah.
All right, well, speaking of punk, let's move on to the night's headline.
All right, now it's time for our headliners. Punk or no punk? That is the question. What is punk? Who is punk? That's what we're going to talk about today. I want to turn it over to our guest right now, the esteemed English Nick.
You were probably a kid back when the punk was happening.
Yeah, I remember being a kid who hadn't quite got into rock music yet, but I had older cousins who were going to see the Pistols and Echo and the Bunnymen and the Clash. So I hadn't gotten into it yet.
Well, I'm not letting you get away with calling Echo and the Bunnymen punk.
But they came.
I'm sorry. They were throwing a flag.
Their early beginnings came out of punk. And so I remember kind of thinking, well, these bands are kind of scary, you know. And my parents, I remember when the Pistols came out with God Save the Queen, and they were banned from the Radio 1, and like Frankie Goes to Hollywood was banned from Radio 1, but they weren't exactly punk rock, So punk had this whole, there was an ethic behind it, it was against upper class, and it was, it was a working class movement. It was bands, doing it for themselves, jumping in the van and playing clubs and stuff. But I think nowadays, with the way that the record industry has gone, and bands now promoting themselves,
closed caption for the hearing impaired,
promoting themselves on MySpace and Facebook and Twitter. I mean, there's kind of a punk rock work ethic there,
Well, it seems that part of the whole punk thing is anti-establishment, anti-money, anti-blah blah blah.
Well, my thing is, there's 3 ways to look at punk. As a noun, as a verb, as an adjective. As an adjective, it's a description, right? So in other words, is Avril Lavigne punk because she wears eyeliner and has safety pins and all that?
And heavy guitar riffs?
So, Good Charlotte. I don't consider them punk.
Yeah.
But they have the punk look. So as an adjective, it's like, that's a look. Let me talk about it as a verb. Punk is like an attitude, right? I mean, punk was an attitude. Vandalism. It's in your face.
More so than the music.
Sure.
Anarchy, yes.
It's anarchy and stuff. So, I don't think there are really any punk bands right now that are mainstream. You look at like a Green Day, they've got the adjective, they have the highliner, and they've got the look, but they're a pop band.
Yeah.
They're not a punk band.
Were they a punk band when Dookie came out?
No.
No.
But they were a punk band on the first album.
But they had that punk rock sound, you know, it was there, even though they were a huge,
but it was very commercial.
The problem is, once you're established, are you a punk band anymore? Once you're staying at the Five Seasons.
Nirvana were a punk band, you know, to begin with, and they still were until he kicked it, because they did kind of go against the grain there, and you know, and they became huge, but they still influenced a lot of bands. And they were still like they always said that Kurt Cobain always said one of his biggest influences was the Sex Pistols, you know.
Right.
And of course the Clash came out of punk, but went on to become something way bigger than that. You know, there was always this thing, the day the country died. You can edit this. The day that punk died or whatever was the day in 1976 when Nevermind the Bollocks came out, because a lot of people that had been into punk up to that point saw the Sex Pistols as the death of punk rock and roll at that point, you know, because it just it crossed over.
They crossed over and became mainstream.
Yeah. And that's where punk becomes the now.
You can't be a punk band and be on Warner Brothers Records.
Right, exactly.
Right?
I think it was the day the music died. That was it. I always remember seeing people with that on their leather jackets, you know. So, and you have to ask yourself, if the Pistols hadn't been managed by Malcolm McLaren, maybe they would have been around for a while longer, because he was part of the implosion of that band.
And I love punk rock, but I do like palatable punk rock.
Right.
I don't like the. I mean, how much of that can you listen to?
That's the thing. Now
there comes a point where it's.
They try to take it too far, where there's really no music. I mean, it's one thing to be, hey, I'm not a good guitar player, not a good drummer. Hey, we can play some stuff and make a good song.
3-chord rock.
Right, but you got to at least play the 3 chords.
Right.
The bands that say they're punk, your Good Charlottes, your Blink-182 back together for a farewell tour. You know.
Well, they'll be doing farewell tours for the next 15 years.
Sure, like
with the money they're making, I mean, they're huge.
And you know, I'm sure if you spoke to Green Day, Green Day have admitted this in interviews. I mean, their shows are like rock arena shows now. They've gotten away from that.
Sure.
You know,
and they're 37 years old too.
Yeah, and they're singing whiny songs like 21 Guns that are nothing to do with punk rock.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
I love Green Day though.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
The biggest Green Day fan.
I'm a huge Green Day fan, but I understand what you're saying. I agree too.
All right, cool. Well, show's over, but we're gonna do some things backstage. All right, we're backstage now with, of course, our guest, English Nick, formerly of 96 Rock and Rock 100.5 here in Atlanta, and host of Metalsome.
I think he was in Def Leppard for 6 months. I'm not sure. I can't confirm that.
I lent them an arm for a while.
But we got some quick questions for you. They are numbered or lettered E through E.
E through E?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you'll see. Question E, what's your favorite Michael Jackson song?
Beat It, I think. Beat It.
Good answer. Question A, what is in your CD player right now?
No lie.
The new Silver Sun Pickup CD called Swoon.
Question D, what was your first concert?
First concert was Donington Monsters of Rock.
Cliff Williams.
1985. Which was ZZ Top were headlining because they were having a huge year with the Eliminator album.
Right.
And then it was Bon Jovi, Metallica, Rat, and Magnum. This is 85. You know, this is Metallica in jeans and t-shirts.
Right.
I fell in love with Metallica that day.
Nice.
It was August of 85.
Fantastic.
All right, got question G. What was your favorite band in high school?
Def Leppard.
Question B. If you could have a beer with any musician, who would it be?
I think right now it would be Wayne Coyne of the Flaming Lips.
Finally, the high E. What sounds better, vinyl, CDs, or MP3s?
Vinyl, for sure. Okay. Yeah.
Warm.
It breathes.
Warm sound.
Yes, it does. Very warm.
Crackle and pop.
Yes.
I'm warm. All right, cool. Well, English Nick, thank you so much for joining us. Of course,
very nice. Fantastic.
Where do we see you? MySpace.com/Metalsome.
Yep. And we're on Facebook too. And of course, Metalsome happens at the Dark Horse. Well, the 10 High under the Dark Horse in the Highlands, Monday, Friday, and Saturday night.
All right, cool. You got any comments or questions? Email us info@thefrustratedrockstars.com. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always,
enjoy your music.